Hiya guys, today's training is going to be on how hard are you working in the gym? Are you working hard enough? Are you getting enough from the effort, from the time that you're putting into the gym that you're going to be seeing the benefits? I'm going to teach us on what exercises I want us to focus on when we're working hard. Alternatives to how we can keep progressing and not just looking for to add weight, because there'll become a time that it will be impossible to stop. As online clients, I don't know how hard you're working. You could write a load of shite in your check-in sheets, etc., and I'll be absolutely buzzing for you. So it's important for you that I try and teach you so you get the most from the initial first 12 weeks, and then if you leave after that you've built up enough knowledge to go and train effectively. There's no point in you putting in 3 to 4 hours a week and gaining nothing from it. It also doesn't help me because you're not progressing, you're not changing. If you get amazing transformations, it helps my business, so we both want to help each other. So are you slacking in the gym? A lot of people will concentrate on trying to add weight into their training sessions. That is a great sign of progression. We need to be incorporating what we call progressive overload to make sure that we are working effectively. Progressive overload would be like if you ran 1 mile every single week or every single day, for example. Your body would adapt to that would now become the norm. You're not pushing yourself any further. So it doesn't burn calories as much because it's now used to running that 1 mile. It's not challenging enough. You won't get any DOMs, you won't feel sore, you won't be getting any fitter because you're now at that level and you're there every single day. 1 second just before I unlock my iPad. So what other ways can we look to progress? In terms of the cardio, you could run 2 miles, that's the most obvious one. You could run faster, you could run uphill. There's lots of different ways that we can do it. In weights, there's even more ways that we can incorporate progressive overload. So the most obvious one, which everyone tries to do, is to add load. Jesus, that's a big pen, don't need that. To add load. So if you were to squat 3 sets of 10 reps at 50 kilograms, the next week you do 3 times 10 at 55 kilograms, you are pushing yourself harder, you've added more load to that set, therefore that is progressive overload. However, like I said, there will become a time that you will not be able to add weight on, or you would just become the world's strongest man. So you could add volume. If you done, by the way, my writing and spelling is horrendous, so bear with me. Add volume. If you do 3 sets of 10 at 50 and then the next week you do 3 sets of 12 at 50, you have added more volume. That is progressive overload. If you do 4 sets of 10 at 50, again, that is more volume. You're putting more stress through your muscles than the week before. That is progressive overload. You can add pause, SAS, eccentric metrics. So if you do 3 sets of 10, up and down, nice tempo. If you do a 3-second pause in the hole at the weakest position, you're putting more stress through your muscles. That is harder. If you do a 4-second decrease, nice and slow on the way down instead of the 2 seconds, again, the tempo has been changed, so that is putting more stress through. That is progressive overload. You can shorten rest times. If you usually rest between 2 and 3 minutes and now you're resting 60 to 90 seconds, again, you're having to work harder because you've reduced your rest. Progressive overload. These are the 4 main ways that I look to incorporate into my training, and I will sometimes write wee notes saying rest 60 seconds, rest 90 seconds, 3 second pause. I like a lot of tempo stuff. And if I write, for example, squats, 10, 8, 6, what I'm expecting there is not 50 kilograms, 50 kilograms, 50 kilograms for it to get, so it's making it easy for you, is right, I've done 10 at 50, let's add a wee bit more on it, let's get 8, let's add a wee bit more on it, let's get 6. So if you ever see that in your training and you don't understand, that is what I want you to do. I want you to add more load on. I'm going to talk about, it's called reps in reserve later on. But that's just one thing, because someone was like, oh, the last set is 6. By the way, how squeaky is this chair? The last set is 6 at the same weight, at 10 was easy. They just thought it was because they would fatigue. But if the reps get lower, I want you to add more weight on. However, this is only, look at that weight, that's shocking. This is only for your compound lifts. Compound lifts are your big main lifts. I will always put compound lifts at the start of your workout. It'll be the first exercise. Compound lifts are what uses the lots of muscle groups. A squat, for example, you've got your quads, your hamstrings, your calves, you've got your glutes, you've got your abdominis, you've got your erector spinae. You'll technically have your shoulder, like your rhomboids as well, squeezing in. The whole, it's basically a full body exercise. If we compare that to a bicep curl, although a lot of guys spend time doing bicep curls, that's just one muscle group. We're not going to get as much stress through that bicep as we are a squat. We're looking to put these ones at the first, so we tire ourselves out. Some people might put them at the end every so often, but you wouldn't be expected to go heavy. Your compound lifts would be, like I said, your squats, your deadlifts, any pressing movements above the head, rows, what else, and then a chest press, I should write overhead, so push press, strict press, etc. These are all big muscle groups that we're wanting to work hard. These are the ones that I want us to focus on in terms of how hard we're working. Accessory lifts, all the other lifts, is more, not that I'm saying it's not about formulas, but like a lat raise, when we come up to the side and back down, I'm not looking for, you can't see me in that, thank God. You to get a 2 rep max or 5 rep max for a lat raise. That's just about working the correct muscle groups. If you're working around 70 to 80% of how hard it should be, that's absolutely fine for all other lifts. The big ones I want us to focus on are these 5 here. These are the ones that make the big changes. For females, you're not going to get massive. Although my training, whether you're wanting to build on muscle or lose fat, my training stays almost the exact same. I might put in a wee bit more cardio, etc. for the fat loss people, but the only thing that changes is the amount of calories that you will eat per day. You should still be lifting heavy. If you're in a calorie deficit, you will have times that your energy is low and you won't lift as heavy as the week before. Also, on that note, if, for example, especially if you're female, because of your hormones, because of your menstrual cycle, if you have a shit week and you lifted 3 times 10 at 50 kilograms last week and you only managed 45, that doesn't mean you're not working hard enough. It could just be your body is not allowing it. You might not have enough energy that day, you might have had a shit sleep. So not every single week is going to be a PB. I'm not expecting that. I sometimes walk in feeling really good and I lift absolutely shit. That's life. Don't cry about it. Don't moan at the programming. Just get on with it. The next day you might lift more. We are not robots. Our hormones, our energy levels go up and down all the time, depending on how you're training, depending on your stress. Okay, so don't worry if you're not progressing it every single week. It is impossible. You're not athletes. I keep saying this to people. Stop having so high expectations for yourself. But these ones here are the ones I want us to focus on, and we're going to, so all these things here we should be looking to try and add to our main list each week. As you can tell, I've done this before, and like, this is take 5. So this is reps in reserve chart. Very simple. This is what I use for my main lifts. So this will make more sense now. So for my squats, if I have got 3 times 10, okay, so 3 sets at 10 reps, I don't want to be able to lift more than 13 reps. You're going to look at yourself for your compound lifts to be about 2 to 3, okay? If I get to my 10th rep and go, I could have lifted 15, I could have got 15 reps there, the weight's too light for me. It's a safer way to gauge it in terms of asking you to do 1 rep max failures and stuff like that. So that's basically for all your compound lifts. I want you to only manage 2 or 3 reps with good form. If you can rattle off a few more reps, write that down on TrueCoach and add more weight. If you're not sure about it, give me a message. But these ones, we need to be putting a lot of stress through our body. We need to be adding load. It can be quite scary at first, but if you're managing more than 3 reps, then you will manage the weight. If, like what I said earlier, you have a set of 10, a set of 8 and a set of 6, so you manage the 10, I made a right error to this, at 50 kilograms, I would look for that to be 55 and that 60. That's just a rough explanation, like a rough guide, but I would be looking to add more weight. And then with the 6th one, I should only be able to manage 2 or 3 more reps, the exact same if it was 12 or 15. Most of my compound stuff will be between 6 and 12 reps. I very rarely go below that. Sometimes I do, just depending on your experience, but that is the key hypertrophy training reps, between 6 and 12. Anything below 6 is more strength training, like strongman stuff, and anything more than 12 is more endurance stuff. So between 2 and 3 reps in reserve. For your accessory list, for anything else, it's more about working at between 70 and 80% of how heavy that you can go, focusing on good form, nice good tempo. Here is what I think a lot of my clients are like in the gym after a session. Nice and chilled, not worked hard enough. You will only get what you put in. If you don't lift heavy enough, it could be for your confidence, etc., then let me know it and I can give you more guidance, more tips. If you don't ask, you don't get. But if you're not putting in 100% effort into these sessions, you're not going to get the results that you want. And you've paid a lot of money for this, so you should be trying to get as much as you can from it. The three takeaways from today. You now know what the compound lifts are. Your big, heavy movements that incorporate a lot of muscle groups, versus accessory lifts where we're not too focused on how heavy we're lifting. It's more about good form. We're still looking to incorporate progressive overload with them, but it's not as important with the big compound lifts. To improve and see results, we need to be out our comfort zone. Like I said there, if you knew that you could manage 5 or 6 more reps, then you're staying within that comfort zone. We need to get out of that to make sure you're getting maximum results. And what I'm not spoken